Right, what's going on everyone? Mr. Pistol96 here and welcome back to a live stream. I said I was going to live stream today and I am. As you can tell by the title, this is my predictions for the April 2019 ban list. Some of these cards I think will either be limited, semi-limited or just outright banned. But let's get on with it. So the first card that I think will be limited, or limited to one, from I think 3, or maybe even limited down to 2, or semi-limited, would be, 1 second, I'm not going over, well, I'm going to go over there to get the card out, so I can show you what what card I think might be semi-limited, or put down to 2 instead of 3. I'll be back in a second. I really should have prepared for this before I started live streaming, but I'm live now. So I think Cephalon, the Ultimate Time Lord, I think that'll be limited to 2 or even 1 because it is an OP card. Because its effect is like when you summon it, you can summon 2 of it or 3 of it in 1 turn. So I think that might be limited down to 2 or even 1. I don't want it to be though, but if it is, it is. I think, let me put that back, that maybe, I think maybe Monster Gate might be limited to 2, if it was not already limited to 2, might be. Again, hoping it's not, because that would mean, well, most of my decks run around putting cards in the graveyard. Well, my zombie deck and my Lightsworn deck revolves around putting cards in the graveyard from the deck. I'm going to be looking through some of the cards in my zombie deck. Maybe Mizuki might be limited to 2. Hope not, because as I said, it's kind of necessary for my zombie deck. Maybe Called by the Grave down to 2, because it is, well, actually no, I don't think it will, because it's good for going against cards like Ash Blossoms or like the hand traps. So I don't think that's going to be changed at all. So from my Blue Eyes deck, I think that maybe where is it? Stamping Destruction might be down to just 2. Well, I only run 2 anyway. 1 in my side, 1 in my main. I think maybe Parsec might be down to 1. Because if you control a level 8 monster, you can almost summon it without tributing. So, yeah, that's that. I think that might be limited to 1. I think Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon will be limited to 1, and I think Azure Eyes might be as well. Red Eyes Darkness Metal might be outright banned due to the Guard Dragon support that you can use in most dragon decks. So that might get banned because of how OP it is and how OP the Guard Dragon stuff is. That's just some of the predictions I think will be either outright banned or limited. I'm not done yet. I think Ultimate Conductor Tyranno might be limited to 1. Again, hope not, because I am currently trying to build a Dino deck. Right here. I think maybe Overtext Quoteless, that card. I think that might be limited to one, because it's as it is, because it's got a decent effect. If I read it out, cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling 5 of your banished dinosaur monsters into the main deck. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell / trap card, quick effect, you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster in your hand or face up on your field, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that card. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 1 evolution pill spell card or spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Overtake quotas once per turn, so it is a once per turn thing, so it might not be banned. And you can only summon 1 anyway a turn. If you've only got 5 banished, that's only 1 that can come out. I think Miscellaneousaurus might be down to 2. I hope not, because that would be pretty bad. But yeah, those are some of the cards. I think that Heat Leo might be limited to 2. Again, don't want it to be, but it might do, because of the fact that you can use it to go into another Heat Leo, and you can recycle the cards, so having them at 2 should be fine. So you can run 2, but personally run 3, because it would be fairly decent. I think that's mostly my predictions for the most part, for some of these cards. I also think that Fraulein might be limited to 2, so 2 in each deck, so that's fine because I've only got 1 at the moment. I hope that none of the Shiranuis get banned, or if they get limited to 1, that's fine, but if they get outright banned, then my deck plan for my zombie deck will be completely and utterly kind of ruined. But the Shiranuis have actually got some recent support, which I'm happy about. So I think the effect of Sun Saga and Skill Saga Supremacy, I think those effects together or combined are actually really good, and I don't think they're going to get banned or limited. If they do get limited, then it is what it is, and there's not much you can do about it. But hopefully it stays, well, they stay at 3 or at least 2, because that would kind of put off the synergy of the Shiranui deck, and I am trying to make a Shiranui deck, or Shiranui zombie deck. So hopefully that will look good. That would still be fairly decent to use. The Sky Strikers, I think, need to be nerfed a lot. So you can only have, say, 1 Sky Striker maneuver, or 1 of each of the Sky Striker maneuver cards, to sort of make it so that it's not too overpowered, and that instead of just using Sky Strikers alone, you have to put them with like other decks that may need stuff to help out with. Because at the moment Sky Strikers are way too overpowered, and they are quite near the top of the tournaments quite recently. And I've seen a lot of people that when they use them, they get bored of doing the same plays over and over and over again, and it kind of gets repetitive. But if you change it up so that they're only limited to 1 and using 1 in the deck, it should be fine. And like Sky Striker Mobilise, that is an OP card. If I only put that to 1, it's fine. Same with the Trick Styles, they have a lot of burn damage. They're not the best deck out there, but they're certainly the most annoying in terms of like burn damage and stuff. But if you have say Doppelganger, you can put that damage or effect damage back to your opponent as well. But they kind of need to be limited to one per deck. So instead of running an outright Trickstar deck, you have to put it with like other cards like spellcasters, or like cards that would maybe bring them out, so it's not overpowered. But that's just my predictions on what I think might be banned or might be limited to one on the monsters side of things, or like the big decks. I say big decks, like the higher up decks that everybody knows. Now on to some of the cards that are overpowered in terms of their effects. So like Brain Control, that's limited to 2, possibly. Because, well, Mind Control will probably be limited to 2 because of how often its effect can be used, or how you can use its effect without paying any cost whatsoever. Enemy Controller, you have to, I think is okay as it is. Maybe limit it to 2 instead of limit it to 1. If it is limited to 1, I'm not too sure about that, but maybe limit it to 2, or put it at 2 so that it's still usable, but it's not outright banned. So most of the cards that I've said I think should not be banned or should be limited to either 1 or 2. And I hope that some of the cards that are banned, I say some of the cards, but by some I mean like some of the zombie cards that aren't too overpowered come back a bit. Now that there's more support coming out for other cards, they can come back to say 1 or 2, but not be completely outright banned. Because the ones that instant match wins or that put you in like a loop, they are the ones that need to be banned completely. ABC Dragon Buster, no, that's fine. Doesn't put into a loop of locked, because you can tribute. If you're going up against a zombie deck, or if you're using a zombie deck against them, and you've got Doom King, Balladrock, I'll use my deck as an example. So if you have this card in there, Balladrock, or Baldarroch, however you pronounce it. If you have that card in there, and you've got Zombie World on the field, you can turn all of your opponent's monsters that are machine will be turned to zombie, and you can use Baldarroch's effect to either banish ABC Dragon Buster or negate it. In a way, it's not a threat in the dueling world, but because there are counters to it, as I've found out with, hopefully you've seen that live stream because it was on the Team Thunder Ojama channel. So go follow them or subscribe to them and help them get to their goal. But I will be making or some other decks. I've got a deck profile coming out Tuesday, I think. Yeah, I've got another deck profile coming out on Tuesday of the very first build I did of my Blue Eyes deck. It is not like that anymore. Then I did a slightly updated version. It's not like that anymore because it's got some other monsters in it and some better cards in it. I was going to run Goyo Guardian in there, but I need an Earth tuner, and all the tuners that I've got in my deck, on my Blue Eyes deck now, are only light monsters, so Goyo Guardian isn't an effective card to use in there. But I am running a generic level 6. May not be the best for it, but it's Iron Chain Dragon. I think I showed you that. I think I showed you that in my first build of it. But I have got some other cards in there now. I'll be doing some more live stream stuff over the next few weeks. And look, I hope you enjoyed the content on the channel. Also, let me know in the comments what your Banlist predictions are going to be, or like if you think some of the cards that I've said should be limited to 1 or 2. Let me know which ones you think should be limited to 1 or 2, and hopefully some of this stuff doesn't actually happen, because some of the cards here are good and are actually really, really good in the decks that they're in, but they're not necessarily overpowered, to say, because you can have, I don't know, a Mirror Force face down to go to 3 Cephalons, and well, just in general, making decent plays and stopping what your opponent's doing. But that's just what I think. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave comments down in the description what you think, or down in the comment section what you think. Go into the description, click on the link in there to follow me on Twitter. I post there quite regularly. Whenever a new video goes out, whenever I'm planning to stream like this, and just in general, just tweeting whenever I feel like it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified of when I upload a new video or whenever I go live. And I'll see you guys possibly in the video on Tuesday, or in a live stream during the week.